Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk about the news that we got from San Diego Comic-Con, because if you guys are not aware, we had the first day of the Marvel Games announcements, and Marvel Future Fight made a contribution along with all of the other Marvel games to give us a clue and a hint as to what could be coming, possibly in the next update, possibly in a couple of updates from now. And just to give you a bit of history, 2 years ago, with the first announcement at San Diego Comic-Con, we got the Gwenpool teaser with the bike. And then last year for Comic-Con, we got the Apocalypse teaser for that update. This year was a little bit bigger than that, so I'm just going to show you guys the video that ended up coming out. This wasn't the first thing that we saw or that we knew from the event, but it ended up being the best thing that could tie us to Marvel Future Fight. And if you haven't seen this, oh boy, because it's pretty crazy. So of course that's Cable. Of course. Yep, that's Domino. Yep. This is my favorite part. Yeah. So it's not a joke. It's not a prank. We're actually getting Deadpool soon. This obviously fills me with a lot of mixed feelings. This does in a way seem like the second coming of the X-Men announcement, something that we as the fans never thought we would get in Marvel Future Fight, and rightfully so. It's just been so long. It's been over 3 years and no Deadpool, but now finally, yes, Deadpool. You can all tell your friends and family and significant others, yes, Deadpool. You don't have to be scared anymore or embarrassed to be playing a Marvel game that doesn't have the guy in the red and black spandex. You can now tell people confidently when you go to job interviews, yes, I play a game that has Deadpool or will have Deadpool very soon. Obviously, I'm super hyped and excited, but it almost feels surreal. And if you have to look that up on the dictionary, I'll wait, and when you come back, we'll keep talking. So, what does this mean for the game? It means a lot of things. It means we're getting an update eventually with Deadpool. Now, I mentioned the Gwenpool and the Apocalypse announcements from the previous years of San Diego Comic-Con, just so that you guys would get a little bit of a feeling or some indication of the fact that just because this is the announcement, it doesn't mean that we're getting this update immediately after San Diego Comic-Con. Now, they did follow that announcement up, that video that they released at San Diego Comic-Con. They did release that on Twitter, and then they released some additional information about a Marvel Future Fight soundtrack, which is pretty cool if you like the music, if you like Luna Snow and stuff like that. And then they also released on Mobirum a sneak peek #1 of that video that I just showed you guys with some blurbs about Deadpool coming into the game and kicking ass. So that does mean that this is the next update. Now, when this will be is pretty unclear. Usually we get updates that drop on Monday or Tuesday. Obviously, we're not going to be getting it this month on the 24th, which is the second last Tuesday of the month. We're probably not even going to be getting it on the 31st of July, which is the last Tuesday of the month. So I would say probably the earliest we can expect this update is the first week of August, the 7th. Now, it's not necessarily guaranteed that it's going to be on the 7th. It could be the 13th, which is the next Tuesday. It could be a month from now. It could be a little bit more than a month from now. I think with an update of this magnitude, we should be of the attitude, and I mean, you can be as hype as you want, and you can start screaming and demanding Deadpool right now. I get it. But I think we should be of the attitude that it's okay if they take longer than a month. We're used to a month cycle between updates, and perhaps we'll continue to get teasers, but we'll get a small update in the meantime so to give them more time, essentially 2 months from now, or roughly 7 weeks, and we'll get something like Hyperion's rework in a small update in a couple of weeks, kind of like a character rebalancing patch, just so that there's more time. As far as I can recall, and from what I remember of the Apocalypse update, I think a lot of people were disappointed, and it did take the excitement out of the update because it was actually divided into two. There was the Age of Apocalypse Part 1 and the Age of Apocalypse Part 2. And Apocalypse himself, which, remember, he was the focus of last year's San Diego Comic-Con teaser. And Apocalypse is a really cool villain. He actually only came in the second part of the update, and it was actually kind of lame. It was just him and the uniform for Wolverine, I believe, and the uniform for Cyclops, and that world boss battle. And that's it. It was pretty lackluster compared to the first part of the update that had Scarlet Witch, Cable, and Quicksilver. So hopefully Netmarble doesn't repeat that kind of error or that mistake, and they give themselves enough time to give us the update in a one full hit, one swing of the Deadpool, the guy who's dead, the Domino, and the Cable uniform. Now, then discussing what I can give you guys in terms of suggestions for preparing for this update. Absolutely, there's nothing you can do to prepare for Deadpool and Domino. I think the only thing you can do to prepare for those two characters, because they might come to the game with their tier 3s ready, possibly, is to save up, I would suggest, 10 combat books and 10 speed books. Now, I know that's a lot, and it's possible that they're both speed, and you're going to have to just make the tough choice between the two, but it's also possible that Deadpool will be combat, or that Domino will be combat. There's no real guarantee because their skill sets are so similar to existing characters that are both in the combat class and in the speed class. Yes, Gwenpool is a speed character, but Punisher is a combat character, and so on and so forth. So there's really maybe a 60% chance, just slightly greater chance that he's going to be a speed character, but he could very well be a combat character. And at the moment, this is the rarest item in the game, and that would be the one to save up in anticipation for Old Red if you are a die-hard Deadpool fan. As far as Cable goes, if you have been working on him or if you've been putting off working on him, I think now would definitely be the time. When native tier 2 characters get uniforms, it's a big deal. It's not a small change, and I can't think of a native tier 2 hero, especially an expensive one, especially one that's extremely meta, has gotten a uniform that hasn't made them even more meta. I think the only ones that are kind of so-so but still very good characters is the Black Order, but they were kind of always that way ever since they've been overshadowed by the newer batch of native tier 2s. So these uniforms, this uniform, at least the one we're getting for Cable, should be very exciting. As far as changing the character around, I'm not sure what they can do to make him do more damage, but possibly they'll change some of his skills around to give him more of a defensive feel so that we can use him outside of ABX, because I think right now that's kind of the only dig or the only complaint against people that build Cable is he's a one-trick pony. He's really good at dealing a lot of damage fast, and that's it. He's not even good at surviving for fighting bosses that deal damage and penetration, with, you know, ignoring iframes and things like that. So he does struggle against guys like Cull Obsidian, where he can't just burst them down in 2 seconds. And in prolonged fights, you start to see the one-dimensional nature of a guy who's actually interdimensional, traveling through time. So he should really have a few more tricks up his sleeve, especially defensively, to deal with enemies. But I'm very excited for that. In addition, because we are getting a uniform for Cable, there's a pretty strong chance that we'll be getting a new... Why did I go there? A pretty strong chance that we'll be getting a new world boss, and that's something that I connected a little bit later on, but definitely seeing Scarlet Witch, we could be getting Scarlet Witch's world boss in addition to Cable's, kind of back to back. Now, what it would mean to have both of their world bosses, I'm not sure. A lot of people in the community have been speculating that mutants will have their own book, that the Titan records for Combat Speed, Blast, and Universal won't apply, that there will be a, mutant Titan combat or mutant Titan record. People are also speculating that there's going to be possibly a native tier 2 Titan record, possibly dropped by Thanos, possibly dropped by someone else. I don't know, but I do know that we're probably going to be getting some new world boss zones to coincide with the uniform, possibly at the same time as Scarlet Witch, or possibly not at all. It's not a guarantee, but it is something that we should think about entertaining the idea of or getting. And yeah, that is the entirety of the first sneak peek for Deadpool. There's going to be more sneak peeks, obviously, so I don't think we're just getting 2 new characters and a uniform. There's more coming down the pipeline. It was teased originally as an extraordinary announcement, so there was the indication of X-Men. And while Deadpool is technically kind of an X-Men, not really, so I do expect to see more X-Men announced as part of this update, which would be just insane to get Cable alongside other original X-Men like possibly Gambit or possibly Iceman or Juggernaut, because he was in the Deadpool 2 movie, would make so much sense, and I think it would just blow the roof off of this update, and it might end up being the biggest update the game's ever seen. It might end up being bigger than X-Men, I don't know, but let me know what you guys think of the Deadpool update. Let me know what you guys think of the character and what kind of potential team-ups you're going to be preparing for him, because I know he's got a pretty colorful interaction list with characters in Marvel Future Fight and in the Marvel Comics. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.